Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. I'm grateful that you're here with me today. Take a slow breath. Let your mind settle. And allow my voice to guide you into a quiet space inside yourself, a space where learning becomes softer, and change becomes possible. Today, I want to tell you a story. A story about the mind. A story about money. A story about how you can train your brain to create more wealth, more opportunity, and more confidence in your future. But this isn't just a lesson. It isn't just motivation. It's a journey. A journey into the deepest rooms of your mind, where beliefs are shaped and possibilities begin. So welcome. Welcome to this moment of clarity, reflection, and transformation. Welcome to a new chapter in your life. Today's topic is simple yet powerful: train your brain to make more money. Not a trick. Not a shortcut. Not an empty promise. But a real path, a mental path, that has changed the lives of millions of people who finally understood one thing: money doesn't start in your wallet. Money starts in your mind. And before we go any further, let me share a story with you. Story: The Boy and the Broken Bicycle. When I was young, I knew a boy named Daniel. He lived in a small neighborhood at the edge of the city. His clothes were simple. His house was old. His family had little money. But Daniel had something else, something rare, something powerful. He had a broken bicycle. Yes, a broken bicycle. One tire was flat. The chain fell off whenever he tried to pedal. The paint had peeled away from the frame. Most kids would have thrown it away. But Daniel didn't. Every afternoon, when school finished and the other kids ran home to play, Daniel stayed behind. He found old tools, rusty screws, leftover parts from other bicycles, things that everyone else ignored. Things nobody thought had value. Day after day, he worked on that broken bicycle. He failed many times. He tried to pump the tire, it went flat again. He fixed the chain, it fell off after 1 minute. He painted the frame, the color washed away after the first rain. But he didn't stop. Something inside him refused to quit. Something inside him kept saying, "Try again." And then, one afternoon, something changed. A man from the neighborhood walked by and saw Daniel working. He watched how focused the boy was. How patient he was. How determined he was. The man smiled and said, "Son, if you can fix that bicycle, you can fix anything." Then he added, "How much do you want for it once it's finished?" Daniel looked up, surprised. He had never thought about selling it. But he answered softly, I don't know." The man said, "If you fix it completely, I'll give you $50. $50. For a boy who barely had lunch money. For a bicycle that everybody else thought was trash. Daniel worked even harder after that. He cleaned every part. Repaired every bolt. Strengthened every piece of metal. And the day he finally finished, the bicycle shone under the afternoon sun like something brand new. The man kept his promise. He gave Daniel $50. The next week, 2 more neighbors asked Daniel to fix their bicycles. Then more people came. And little by little, something beautiful happened. Daniel trained his brain to see opportunity where others saw nothing. That broken bicycle was not just a bicycle. It was the beginning of a mindset, a money-making mindset born from patience, curiosity, and possibility. My friend, your brain is just like Daniel's bicycle. Maybe some parts of it feel broken. Maybe some of your beliefs about money are old, rusty, or unhelpful. Maybe you've been told things like, "You're not good with money. You'll never be rich. People like you don't succeed. Money is hard to earn." But just like Daniel, you can learn. You can train. You can rebuild. You can rewire your mind. Because wealth doesn't begin with luck. It doesn't begin with talent. It begins with how you think. And today, we begin the transformation together. Part 1. The Invisible Money Program in Your Mind. Before we continue this journey, I want you to take one slow breath and gently notice something. Money is not just numbers. Money is not just paper. Money is not just a tool. Money is a mirror. A mirror that reflects what your mind believes about yourself, about your worth, and about the world. And the truth is simple, you don't earn money with your hands first. You earn money with your beliefs. But where do these beliefs come from? Why do some people grow up believing that they can create wealth, while others grow up afraid of it, confused by it, or feeling unworthy of it? To understand this, let me take you deeper into the invisible code that shapes your financial life. The childhood programming. Every brain has a money program inside it. Not a real program, not a computer code, but a pattern of thoughts installed quietly when you were young. Think about it. Maybe you heard things like, money doesn't grow on trees. We can't afford that. Rich people are greedy. Life is hard. You should be grateful for what you have and not ask for more. If you fail, everyone will laugh at you. These little sentences, spoken casually by adults who meant no harm, enter a child's mind like seeds. And seeds grow. Some grow into confidence. Some grow into fear. Some grow into ambition. Some grow into limitation. If you were raised in a home where money was always a problem, your brain learned something: money is danger. Money is stress. If you were raised seeing your parents work endlessly but still struggle, your brain learned, no matter how hard I work, I'll always be behind. If you grew up surrounded by arguments about bills or debt, your brain may have formed a quiet belief: money causes pain. Better stay away. None of this is your fault. But all of this affects you deeply. The story of Lena and the locked drawer. Let me tell you a story. There was a woman named Lena. She was talented, hardworking, and full of ideas. But no matter how hard she tried, she could never break through financially. She earned money but it slipped away. She saved a little but emergencies always appeared. She tried new projects but fear always stopped her halfway. One day, during a quiet evening, Lena visited her mother's old house. While cleaning a bedroom drawer, she found something strange. A tiny wooden box with a rusty lock, and a small note taped to the top. The note said, "For emergencies only. Never touch unless absolutely necessary." The box was empty. Completely empty. But her mother had kept it for 25 years. And suddenly, Lena understood. Growing up, she had watched her mother hide money, worry about money, save money with fear, and speak about money with sadness. Even when there was enough, her mother acted as if there wasn't. She lived in constant financial anxiety. And that anxiety had entered Lena's mind, silently. It had become a part of her. A belief. A pattern. She realized something powerful: I'm not afraid of money. I inherited someone else's fear. That evening, Lena closed the drawer, sat quietly on the floor, and whispered, "I'm not that little girl anymore. I can write a new program." And that was the beginning of her transformation. Your mind is the same, my friend. You have your own version of that wooden box. Maybe not physically, but mentally. A memory. A sentence you heard. A belief that isn't yours. A fear that doesn't belong to you anymore. It still lives inside you, but it's outdated, unnecessary, and untrue. The good news is, the brain is rewritable. Your money program can be changed. Your beliefs can be reshaped. Not by force. Not by pressure. But by awareness. And today, right now, as you listen to these words, you are already rewriting the story of your financial life. Part 2, Your Brain's Survival System, Why It Blocks Wealth. Before we go deeper, I want you to pause for a moment, and place your hand gently on your chest. Feel your breath. Feel your heartbeat. Feel the quiet intelligence inside you. Your body is always trying to protect you. Even when you don't notice it. Even when you don't understand it. Even when the thing it protects you from is actually the thing you want. And that is the mystery of the human mind. Your brain is built for one purpose: survival, not success. Safety, not wealth. Comfort, not growth. For thousands of years, the brain's main job was to keep you alive, to avoid danger, to avoid risk, to avoid the unknown. But here is the surprising truth: to earn more money, you must enter the unknown. To rise financially, you must take risks, emotional, mental, or practical. To grow wealth, you must step outside comfort. So, your brain becomes confused. It wants you safe. You want success. Two systems pulling in opposite directions. Let me explain this through a story. The story of the village and the river. There was once a peaceful village beside a wide river. The villagers lived simple lives, fishing, farming, raising families. Life was calm, predictable, and safe. But across the river, there was another land, a land full of opportunity. Fertile soil. New trade routes. Better living. Many villagers dreamed of crossing the river to start a new life there. But the river was wide. The current was strong. Crossing felt risky. So the villagers stayed where they were. Even though the soil was getting weaker. Even though opportunities were running out. Even though they knew, deep down, that the other side held more possibility. One day, a young woman named Arya stood at the riverbank. She looked at the water, felt her heart race, and thought, if I stay here, I survive. But if I cross, I might truly live. She built a small boat. Her hands trembled the entire time. Every minute she worked, her mind whispered, what if you fail? What if the water is too strong? What if you regret it? What if you lose everything? But there was a second voice too, a softer one, deep inside her chest. What if this is the beginning of the life you were meant to live? She listened to the second voice. She pushed the boat into the water. For a few terrifying moments, she thought she would be swallowed by the river. But she kept paddling. Slowly. Steadily. Determinedly. Until her feet touched the ground on the other side. The new land was exactly as she imagined, rich, abundant, full of opportunity. And something else happened. The villagers who watched her cross started to believe that maybe they could cross too. Your survival brain and money. Your mind is like those villagers. It wants to stay on the familiar shore. It prefers the predictable life even if that life is full of limitation. It tells you, don't try that business, it might fail. Don't ask for a raise, they might say no. Don't learn new skills, it feels uncomfortable. Don't take risks, stay safe. This voice is not your enemy. It's your old survival brain, the part that wants to protect you from emotional danger, social danger, rejection, embarrassment, uncertainty. But here is the truth that can change your life: wealth lives on the other side of emotional risk. Not dangerous risk. Not foolish risk. But the emotional risk of expansion. Your brain says, stay on the safe side of the river. But your future whispers, cross. There is more waiting for you. Your brain is not a prison, it is trainable. The beautiful thing about the human mind is this: your survival instincts can be trained. You can teach your brain that new opportunities are safe. You can teach your brain that earning more is not dangerous. It starts with one powerful realization: fear is not a stop sign. Fear is a doorway. When you feel fear about a new opportunity, it is often a sign that you are standing at the edge of a bigger life. Just like Arya at the river. And just like her, you can learn to push gently beyond the edge. Part 3: How to rewire your mind for wealth. Before we begin this part, I want you to sit comfortably, relax your shoulders, and allow your breathing to slow down. Because the truth is this: you can train your brain to create more wealth quietly, gently, and consistently. Your brain is not a fixed machine. It is a living, flexible, constantly changing system. Every thought you repeat, every emotion you feel, every decision you make, rewires your mind. And when you understand how to rewire it, you unlock the ability to change your financial destiny. Let me guide you through 3 powerful steps. But first, another story. The story of the garden mind. Imagine your mind as a garden. A wide field of soil, soft and fertile. Every belief you have is a seed planted long ago. Some seeds grow into strong, beautiful trees: confidence, courage, resilience. Some seeds grow into thick weeds: fear, scarcity, self-doubt. And here's the most important part: the garden doesn't choose the seeds. You do. Every day, you plant something, with your thoughts, your habits, your reactions, your beliefs. A gardener who wants a new garden doesn't scream at the weeds. He doesn't blame the soil. He doesn't beg the plants to grow differently. He simply starts removing old seeds and planting new ones. And that is exactly how your brain rewires. Now let's turn this metaphor into real wealth building practices. Step 1: replace scarcity thoughts with expansion thoughts. Your old programming may whisper, "Money is hard. I never have enough. I'm afraid to try. I'm not good with money. I wasn't born rich." These thoughts are weeds. They wrap around your potential and choke it. To rewire your brain, you don't fight these thoughts. Try speaking to yourself in slow, calm English every morning: "There is enough money in this world for me. I am capable of learning any skill. I welcome new opportunities. Money flows where focus goes. I give myself permission to grow." At first, it feels strange. New seeds always feel strange. But over time, your brain begins to accept them as truth. Because the brain believes what it hears consistently. Step 2: visualize your financial future every day. This step is not magic. It is neuroscience. When you imagine something clearly, your brain activates the same pathways as if the event were happening in real life. This means, visualization trains your brain to feel comfortable with your future success. It removes fear. It removes internal resistance. It makes wealth feel familiar, and what feels familiar becomes easier to create. Every night before you sleep, close your eyes, and imagine the life you want. The opportunities coming toward you. The skills you are mastering. The bank account you're building. The freedom you desire. The peace you feel. The confidence in your voice. The future version of you smiling. Hold that image for 60 seconds. This is not daydreaming. It is brain training. It is how you teach your mind that success is safe, that wealth is normal, and that your new identity is real. Step 3: take one daily action that breaks the old pattern. A rewired brain is not built only with thoughts. It is built with actions. But not big actions. Not dramatic actions. Not overwhelming actions. Small, consistent actions. The brain loves small steps because small steps feel safe. And when something feels safe, your brain allows you to repeat it. So ask yourself each morning, what is one small action that my future wealthy self would do today? Maybe it's reading 5 pages of a money book. Maybe it's saving $1. Maybe it's watching a financial lesson. Maybe it's learning one new English word related to business. Maybe it's sending a message to a potential client. Maybe it's practicing a skill for 10 minutes. One action per day. Just one. These tiny actions tell your brain, I am changing. I am growing. I am becoming someone new. And slowly, like a garden growing from winter to spring, your identity shifts. You stop thinking like your old self. You start thinking like someone who creates wealth, who deserves wealth, who is ready for wealth. Part 4, The Power of Self-Image. Before we begin this part, I want you to take one slow breath and gently ask yourself a quiet question. How much money do I believe I deserve? Not how much you want. Not how much you dream of having. But how much you truly, deeply, quietly believe you are worthy of. Because here is a truth that nearly every wealthy person eventually learns: you never rise above the image you hold of yourself. You can try. You can hustle. You can force your way upward. But if your inner self-image says, I don't deserve more, your mind will find ways to push success away. Not because you are weak. Not because you are broken. But because your brain always returns to the identity it believes is you. Let me show you what this means through a story. The story of the actor who could not become rich. There was a young actor named Elias. He was talented, passionate, disciplined, someone who worked harder than anyone else around him. He attended every audition. He studied every role. He practiced late into the night. And slowly, opportunities began opening. Small roles here, small roles there. But something strange kept happening. Every time he received a role that paid more money or offered more visibility, he made a mistake. He arrived late. He forgot lines. He panicked during rehearsals. He sabotaged relationships with directors. People said, he's careless. He's not ready. He's unprofessional. But none of this was true. Inside, Elias felt one thing: I am not good enough for this level of success. He didn't think he deserved bigger opportunities. He didn't believe he belonged in bigger rooms. He didn't feel worthy of higher pay. So his subconscious mind, the quiet, hidden part of him, protected him by pulling him back to what felt comfortable. Back to small roles. Back to small income. Back to the identity he thought was safe. Everything changed one afternoon when an older actress approached him backstage. She looked into his eyes and said softly, Elias, your problem isn't your talent. Your problem is your identity. You're acting in the world but refusing to act inside yourself. He asked her what she meant. She replied, you keep playing small roles because you still see yourself as a small person. Change the way you see yourself, and your entire career will change. Those words struck him deeply. For the first time, he understood, his self-image was limiting his income more than any opportunity ever could. From that day on, he trained not just his acting skills, he trained his identity. He began seeing himself as someone who belonged on big stages. Someone who deserved to be paid well. Someone who brought value. Someone who could rise. Slowly, everything changed. He became more confident, more reliable, more grounded. And soon, the world began treating him exactly the way he treated himself. Your income is a reflection of your self-image. Your financial life works the same way. If your self-image says, I'm bad with money. I don't deserve wealth. I'm not smart enough. I wasn't born into a rich family. People like me never become successful. Then your subconscious mind will quietly guide your behaviors to match that belief. You may avoid opportunities. You may procrastinate. You may underprice yourself. You may self-sabotage. You may settle for less. Not because you want to fail, but because your identity feels safe where it is. But here is the beautiful truth: self-image is not permanent. It can be trained just like a muscle. Changing your financial identity. Start by speaking to yourself the way a mentor would speak to you. Say slowly, "I am capable of earning more. I deserve opportunities. My work has value. I belong in rooms of success. I give myself permission to rise." Do this daily, even if it feels uncomfortable. Especially if it feels uncomfortable. Because uncomfortable feelings often mean your identity is expanding. Next, begin acting as if you already are the future version of yourself. Ask, what would the wealthier version of me do today? Would they learn a new skill? Would they say no to things that waste time? Would they save differently? Would they carry themselves with more confidence? Would they speak more clearly? Would they take one brave step forward? Every small action reinforces a new identity. And when your identity rises, your financial reality follows. Part 5. Build the skills that make you valuable. Before we begin this chapter, I want you to breathe slowly and let one gentle idea enter your mind: money follows value. Value comes from skill. Skill comes from training. Not luck. Not talent. Not being born gifted. But training, steady, patient training. And the wonderful truth is, any skill can be learned. Any person can become valuable. Any future can be built. Let me take you into a story that shows this clearly. The story of the two sculptors. In a quiet village stood a large, beautiful workshop where stone sculptures were carved by hand. There were two sculptors working there: Master Ryan, an older man known for his stunning sculptures, and a young man named Theo, who admired him deeply. Theo worked hard. Every day he arrived early, practiced carving stone, and tried to copy the master's techniques. But his sculptures always looked rough, unbalanced, and incomplete. Weeks passed. Months passed. Theo grew frustrated. One evening, after everyone left, he sat in the empty workshop, and whispered to himself, "No matter how hard I try, I'll never be as good as him. Maybe I'm not meant for this." Just then, Master Ryan stepped inside. He looked at Theo's tired eyes, and asked gently, "Why do you compare your beginning to someone else's 20 years of practice?" Theo lowered his head. Ryan continued, "You think I'm talented. But talent is only the seed. Skill is the tree. And a tree grows one day at a time." Theo asked, "Then how do I build real skill?" The master smiled. "By falling in love with the process, not the result." He picked up a small hammer and chisel and said, "Focus on learning one tiny movement every day. Not the whole sculpture. Just one movement. If you do that for 1 year, you will surpass anyone who tries to master everything at once." Theo followed his advice. He stopped rushing. He stopped comparing. He stopped trying to be perfect. Instead, he focused on one small skill each day: one day, how to hold the chisel; one day, how to angle the hammer; one day, how to smooth the edges; one day, how to feel the stone; one day, how to listen to the sound of each strike. Day after day, he trained tiny skills. And something magical happened. 6 months later, his sculptures transformed. Not all at once, but piece by piece, layer by layer, movement by movement. People traveled to the village to buy his art. Because he had become valuable. Not through luck. Not through talent. but through skill. Your wealth grows the same way. My friend, your financial life works exactly like Theo's sculpting. You become valuable by building skills. Not random skills, not skills you never use, but skills that the world rewards. Let me tell you something important: wealthy people don't chase money. They chase skills. Money chases them. Because the world always pays for value. And value comes from only one place: what you can do that others cannot. But don't worry, this is not pressure. This is freedom. Because every valuable person started with zero skill, and built their abilities slowly, just like the sculptor. 3 categories of skills that create wealth. If you want to increase your income, focus on building skills in these 3 groups. 1. Thinking skills. Skills that shape how your mind works: problem solving, creativity, decision making, long-term thinking, emotional control, confidence. These skills turn you into someone people trust. Someone people follow. Someone people rely on. These skills are the foundation of wealth. 2. Money skills. Skills that help you manage, grow, and multiply money: saving, budgeting, investing, understanding risk, negotiating, pricing your value, recognizing opportunities. These skills protect your income and turn it into freedom. 3. Market skills. Skills the world pays for: communication, sales, English speaking, content creation, marketing, technology, design, teaching, leadership. These skills turn you into someone the world needs, and the world always pays for what it needs. Small steps build big skill. Don't pressure yourself to learn everything at once. Don't rush. Don't compare. Don't expect perfection. Instead, spend 10 minutes a day learning. Spend 10 minutes practicing. Spend 10 minutes improving. That alone, if done every day, will change your life. Small skills become big skills. Big skills become big value. Big value becomes big income. This is how wealth grows. Quietly. Slowly. Steadily. Just like a sculptor's hands carving beauty out of stone. Part 6: How to create opportunities. Why wealthy people don't wait, they build. Before we continue, take a slow, deep breath. And let a simple idea settle in your mind: opportunities are not always given. They are created. Many people wait. They wait for the perfect moment. They wait for luck. They wait for someone to notice them. They wait for permission. But the truth is, the world doesn't hand out wealth. The world rewards action. The world rewards initiative. The world rewards people who create opportunities. Let me show you what this looks like, through a story. The story of Maya, the street vendor. Maya lived in a small town. She sold fruits on the street. Her life was simple. Her income was small. Her dreams were bigger than her circumstances. One day, a man stopped at her stall. He asked her a simple question: "How do you know your fruit is fresh every day?" Maya replied honestly, "I check them myself, but sometimes, it's hard to know." The man smiled and left. But the question stayed in her mind. Maya realized something important: she could provide value in a way nobody else did. So she did something simple, yet powerful. The next day, she wrote small labels on her fruit baskets: "Pick today, 100% fresh." She smiled at every customer. She started remembering their names. She created small moments of delight. People noticed. They came back. They told their friends. The man who had asked the question returned, and bought more than ever before. Over time, Maya expanded her stall. She created partnerships with other vendors. She taught her neighbors the same labeling trick. She created a small network of fruit sellers. Her income multiplied, not by waiting for luck, but by creating opportunities. The secret behind creating opportunities. The story of Maya teaches us this truth: opportunities are not found. They are made. When you act, even in small ways, you send a signal to the world: I am ready. I am capable. I can add value. The world responds. Doors open. People notice. Resources appear. Ideas connect. But if you wait, those doors remain closed. Time passes. Opportunities go to others who are willing to step forward. 3 ways to create opportunities every day. Here are simple methods to create opportunities in your life, starting today. 1. Focus on value first. Ask yourself, how can I make life easier for someone else? How can I solve a problem today? The more value you give, the more people notice you, the more doors open. Maya focused on freshness. You can focus on your skill, your service, your idea. 2. Take consistent, small actions. Opportunities grow slowly, just like seeds in a garden. Small actions every day accumulate into big results. Send 1 email. Offer 1 solution. Learn 1 skill. Talk to 1 new person. Consistency compounds. Momentum builds. Soon, the world begins noticing your energy. 3. Connect with the right people. Your network is your net worth. Seek people who inspire you. Seek people who challenge you. Seek people who align with your values. Even small interactions, a coffee, a conversation, a kind note, can spark opportunities that never existed before. Maya did this naturally, without realizing it. She connected, delivered value, and acted consistently. Opportunities flowed to her because she built them. Your brain will reward action. Here is the connection to your mind: every time you take small action, you prove to your subconscious, I can create. I am capable. I deserve success. Your brain begins rewiring itself to see abundance, to notice possibilities, and to trust your ability to act. And when your brain trusts you, life responds. Doors open. Ideas appear. Wealth follows naturally. Part 7: The Power of Persistence. Why wealth comes to those who keep going. Before we begin, take a slow, deep breath, and gently let your mind settle. Because persistence is not just a habit. It is a mindset. It is the quiet force that separates those who dream from those who achieve. Many people stop. They try once, twice, or maybe 3 times. And when results don't appear immediately, they give up. But here is a truth you must hear carefully: wealth is rarely instant. It comes to those who continue, even when results are unseen. Let me show you this truth through a story. The story of the inventor and the lamp. Long ago, there was an inventor named Kiran. He dreamed of creating a lamp that would burn brighter, longer, and safer than any other lamp in the world. Kiran worked tirelessly. He tested hundreds of designs. He burned through materials. He failed again and again. Neighbors mocked him. Friends doubted him. After the 312th attempt, he was exhausted. He said to himself, I must be doing something wrong. Maybe I'm not meant to succeed. He was ready to give up. But that night, something inside him whispered, try one more time. Just one more time. So Kiran returned to his workshop. He adjusted a small detail in the wick. He changed the angle of the reflector. He mixed a slightly different oil. And then, the lamp shone brighter than anything he had ever imagined. It was perfect. Reliable. Beautiful. The world noticed. Orders flooded in. Kiran became successful, not because he was luckier, but because he refused to quit. Persistence creates momentum. Persistence works quietly. Each small attempt, each small failure, builds a foundation in your mind. I can handle challenges. I can learn from mistakes. I am capable of more than I thought. When you persist, you teach your brain to expect growth, not defeat. You teach your brain that obstacles are not dead ends, but stepping stones. This is how wealth forms, step by step, failure by failure, lesson by lesson, until success is inevitable. 3 principles to build persistence. Here are practical ways to cultivate persistence in your life. 1. Focus on the vision, not the difficulty. Your brain reacts strongly to challenges. It notices pain more than possibility. When you feel like quitting, pause, and remember your vision. Ask yourself, why am I doing this? What life do I want to create? Let your vision pull you forward, even when your body and mind resist. 2. Break goals into small, achievable steps. The brain resists huge, overwhelming goals. Persistence grows when you feel success often. Take any big goal, earning more money, building a skill, launching a business, and divide it into tiny steps. Small wins create momentum. Momentum reinforces belief. Belief fuels persistence. 3. Learn to embrace failure. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of it. Every mistake, every setback, every rejection is a lesson. Your brain learns faster from these experiences. Your mind becomes stronger. Your skills sharpen. Persistence is simply continuing to move forward despite fear or failure. It is refusing to let temporary challenges stop your lifelong journey. Your brain and wealth. When you combine persistence with skill building, opportunity creation, and a rewired mindset, your brain begins to anticipate success. You become someone who expects solutions. Someone who solves problems. Someone who notices opportunities. Someone who is ready for wealth. And wealth, whether financial, emotional, or personal, naturally follows. Part 8: Mindset and Emotional Intelligence. How successful people handle money without stress. Before we begin this chapter, take a slow, deep breath, and allow yourself to feel present. Because wealth is not only about money. It is also about how you think, how you feel, and how you respond. Many people earn more money, but feel anxious, stressed, or overwhelmed. They worry constantly, will it last? Did I make the right choice? What if I lose it all? The truth is, financial success without emotional intelligence is fragile. Your brain and emotions must work together to sustain wealth. Let me show you through a story. The story of Mr. Chen, the businessman. Mr. Chen was a successful businessman. He had wealth. He had status. He had opportunity. But he was always worried. Even small setbacks felt catastrophic. He checked his bank account multiple times a day. He argued with his partners over tiny mistakes. He rarely slept well. And despite all his success, he was not happy. One day, he met a wise mentor. The mentor asked, "Why are you so afraid of losing what you already have?" Mr. Chen replied, "I worked so hard for this. I can't lose it." The mentor smiled. "Your problem is not your money. Your problem is your mind. Your brain associates wealth with fear and stress. Change your association, and your life will change." The lesson: mindset and emotional intelligence. Here's what Mr. Chen learned. 1. Money is a tool, not a master. It exists to serve your goals and values, not to control your emotions. 2. Your emotional reaction is learned. Fear, stress, and worry are habits, just like brushing your teeth or checking your email. You can retrain your brain to respond differently. 3. Emotions influence decisions. The calmer your mind, The better decisions you make. The more confident your mindset, the more you notice opportunities. How to train your mind for calm, wealthy thinking. Here are practical ways to build emotional intelligence around money. 1. Observe your money thoughts. Start noticing how you think about money. Do you feel anxious when checking your account? Do you feel guilty when spending? Do you feel impatient when waiting for growth? Simply observing your emotions creates awareness. Awareness is the first step toward control. 2. Separate money from identity. Many people tie money to self-worth. I'm smart if I earn more. I'm worthless if I fail. This is dangerous. Your income does not define you. Your value exists independently of your bank balance. Practice telling yourself, I am valuable regardless of money. Money is a tool, not a measure of my worth. 3. Respond calmly, don't react. When unexpected expenses, losses, or setbacks occur, pause before reacting. Take one slow breath. Ask, what is the best next step? What can I learn from this situation? This trains your brain to see solutions instead of panic. It turns stress into strategy. 4. Practice gratitude and perspective. Even small gratitude exercises can rewire your brain to notice abundance. Write down 3 ways money helped you today. Appreciate small successes. Reflect on the skills you've built. Gratitude teaches the brain to focus on opportunities instead of fear. It reduces stress and strengthens your confidence. The reward. When your mindset is calm, clear, and confident, you make better decisions. You notice opportunities earlier. You take smart risks. You attract partnerships and clients more easily. You enjoy the process of growing wealth without fee. This is emotional intelligence in action. It makes wealth sustainable. It makes success peaceful. It makes life abundant. Part 9, the compound effect. How small daily actions multiply your wealth over time. Before we begin, take a slow, deep breath and allow yourself to feel present. Because the final secret to building lasting wealth is often invisible, quiet, and simple, small actions, repeated consistently over time, create massive results. Many people look for big breakthroughs. They wait for a windfall, a lucky break, or a sudden opportunity. But the truth is, wealth rarely comes overnight. It comes gradually, silently, through the accumulation of small, smart actions. Let me tell you a story. The story of the farmer and the bamboo. There was a farmer who planted bamboo seeds. He watered them every day. He fertilized them carefully. He removed weeds. He waited patiently. For years, nothing happened. No shoots appeared. Neighbors mocked him. Why do you waste your time? Nothing will grow here. But the farmer continued. Every day, he watered. Every day, he cared. Every day, he believed. And in the 5th year, something extraordinary happened. The bamboo sprouted. And within just 6 weeks, it grew more than 80 feet tall. Why? Because all the daily care, all the small consistent actions, had built a deep foundation underground. The growth took time to appear above the surface, but it was unstoppable once it did. The lesson. Your wealth is like the bamboo. Small actions every day, learning a new skill, saving a little money, investing wisely, offering value to others, visualizing your success, building your emotional intelligence. All of these seem small, almost invisible. But over time, they compound. Like interest in a bank account, like seeds growing into a tree, like water forming a river. Before you know it, your life has changed dramatically. And the change feels effortless, because it grew quietly over time. How to apply the compound effect to your life. Here are some simple steps. 1. Daily learning. Commit to learning something new every day. Read one page of a book, watch a short lesson, practice one skill for 10 minutes. Small, consistent growth adds up to mastery over time. 2. Small, smart financial actions. Save a little each day. Invest a little each week. Track your spending carefully. Every dollar compounds. Every smart choice builds confidence. 3. Daily value creation. Give value every day, even in tiny ways. Solve a small problem for someone. Teach someone a skill. Share helpful advice. Offer kindness. The cumulative effect of these actions creates opportunities, trust, and relationships that lead to wealth. 4. Daily mindset training. Spend a few minutes each day visualizing your future self, repeating empowering affirmations, observing your thoughts and redirecting fear. Your brain rewires slowly but powerfully when you train it consistently. The magic of consistency. Wealth is rarely the result of one big action. It is the result of hundreds, thousands, and even tens of thousands of small actions, performed consistently over months and years. Think of each small action as a single drop of water. One drop seems meaningless, but drop after drop forms a river, a lake, an ocean. The same is true for your money, your skills, your confidence, and your life. Final thoughts. The journey of your mind. Today we have explored a journey together, how your brain forms beliefs about money, how your subconscious programming affects your income, how survival instincts can block wealth, how to rewire your mind for abundance, how self-image determines what you earn, how skills create value and attract money, how opportunities are created, not waited for, how persistence and emotional intelligence sustain success, how small, daily actions compound over time. And now it's your turn. Not tomorrow, not next week, but starting today. Take one small step. Plant one small seed. Trust the process. And your life will change, just like Daniel with the bicycle, Lena with the wooden box, Arya at the river, Theo with the sculptures, and Kieran with the lamp. Remember, money begins in your mind. Wealth grows through patience, skill, and persistence. Your future is built daily, quietly, intentionally. So breathe deeply. Believe in your potential. Take your first small step today. And one day, you will look back and realize, your mind created your wealth long before your wallet did. If this video has inspired you, if you feel ready to take your first small step today, please subscribe to this channel. Join our growing family, where we explore stories, lessons, and tools to help you train your brain, grow your skills, and create abundance. Your journey has just begun, and together, we will rise higher, step by step. Thank you for being here. And I expect to wait to see you in the next story.